Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. So I've previously did two videos on the whole backlash over the AI actress Tilly Norwood. So the first one I did covered like the initial report that came out on Saturday that was reported by Deadline. The second one I covered the founder and creator of Particle 6 with her statement over the backlash over Tilly Norwood. So those are available on the channel if you haven't checked them out already. All right. So it seems like with this story, more keeps coming out. And honestly, like I imagined that it was going to be a big story, but I didn't imagine it would be this big of a story because it's gone international with this story. So, if you remember, like the initial article by Deadline, Eline, I think it's Eline or Eline, I can't remember, but Eline Vander Helden, the founder of Particle 6, she mentioned that apparently many agents are interested in signing Tilly Norwood. But, well, agents have spoken out and they have certainly have been contradictory to Elaine's claims. So, an article on Variety shares that one of the agencies, Gersh, says that they will not sign Tilly Norwood. It says Gersh agency president Leslie Shebert, who represents stars like Jacob Elordi, calls Tilly phenomenon frightening and says she will not be surprised if the AI creation lands at an agency. She says, quote, "But we're not going to be that agency. That said, it's going to keep coming up and we have to figure out how to deal with it in the proper way. But it's not a focus for us today." Also says here JD Harriman, a partner at Foundation Law Group and an AI legal specialist, predicts that Tilly will mark the first in an invasion of synthetic performers. From his vantage, the industry should have been on full notice last year when OpenAI created a Johansson type voice for its chat GPT assistant Sky without the actress's consent. Scarlett Johansson threatened legal action, and OpenAI quickly pulled Sky from the app. Says, quote, "That should have started the bells ringing in Hollywood. Producers would love to have actors that get paid less, never make PR mistakes, never age, have unlimited reshoots, and can do their own stunts. The last actor strike did not provide any protection against this kind of thing happening, and it will continue to grow." And then it continues that, yeah, many people have spoken out, like Emily Blunt. Says here, like Johansson and Portman, Blunt is repped by CA and is warning agencies don't do that. Tony Collette also spoken out. Is under CA. Kiersey Clemens also spoke out, is under UTA. The Town podcast with Matt Belloni briefly talked about this on Monday, and I want to share the clip that he talked about during the last segment of the episode.
I want to talk about this AI generated actress named Tilly Norwood, which was referenced during a weekend panel at the Zurich Summit, which is an industry get together. A woman named Eline van der Velden, who is an actor turned tech entrepreneur, and she's got a company that created this digital performer. She claimed that multiple talent agencies are clamoring to represent this AI actress, Tilly Norwood, and that a signing announcement would be forthcoming in the next few months. You think this is real?
Do I think it's real that they have had conversations with some talent agencies? Yes. Do I think we are going to see one of the 2 or 3 majors in Hollywood sign an AI actress and risk having a lot of their movie star clients tell them to fuck off? No.
Yeah, that is my prediction, that none of the big 3 agencies will touch Tilly Norwood or any AI generated actress. It's just too much of a hot button issue. There was so much backlash. She released a statement this morning, actually. Quote, "She is not a replacement for a human being, but a creative work, a piece of art. Like many forms of art before her, she sparks conversation. And that in itself shows the power of creativity." Okay, whatever. Now, this entrepreneur person, she may be referring to agencies wanting to represent her company to perhaps do deals with studios, which I could see perhaps being a thing. A lot of these companies have agency representatives to help them negotiate or navigate the Hollywood landscape. That could be a thing without representing any individual quote unquote actress. But no agency is going to touch this if they want their actual human clients to be clients still. None of the majors are going to do this.
Look, we'll see what happens, but there's been a lot of fuss over the years about sort of virtual influencers, right? Yeah. And every time people got all excited about it, setting East Asia out of the equation for now, it never really hit the mainstream in a big way. You'd have like little blips, but guess what? The biggest YouTubers are still human beings. The biggest musicians, for the most part, are still human beings. Like there's been a lot of fuss in the music business about Zania Monet, who's a kind of a quote unquote AI artist. And it is worth noting that she was not signed to one of the three major record labels because they would be scared, I think, to take that risk, considering that they're in the middle of suing some AI companies. So you're going to see some experiments on the sides, and if it works, then maybe the situation changes.
Maybe. I asked around this morning a couple of big agents, are you guys going to touch this? And the uniform answer was hell no. Now, maybe there's a lane there for an enterprising smaller agency to corner this market. In 10 years, we're going to be talking about the rise of, an agency that just does this stuff and how powerful and profitable they are. But I just think that the regular agencies, they got to be wary of this.
Yeah. Also, of all the ways in which AI is going to affect filmmaking in the near future, I don't think replacing actors fully with AI actors is going to be one of the big ones, at least not in the short term.
Not in the short term. No. I mean, enhancements and tools and all the other things, yes. But, Tilly Norwood, don't think you're getting an Oscar.
Yeah. You're safe.
I don't see any of the major, at least, talent agencies touching Tilly or any AI avatar, essentially, for obvious reasons. But I would not be surprised if, let's say, there was an agency or a company that essentially is all about AI talent, essentially. So I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. But yeah, as of right now, I don't see any agencies going near this, unless if there are those that don't care, and most likely they'll get backlash. And just before recording, I saw the town had a new episode where they talked with Duncan Crabtree Ireland, if that's his name. This episode says soar to AI actors and how Hollywood can fight back. I have not listened to this episode, but apparently Matt Belloni and Duncan Crabtree Ireland, who's the SAG-AFTRA National Executive Director, they did talk about Tilly here, so you could check out the episode here. Okay, so we need to talk about the unions. When I talked in my first video on this, the unions did not respond, but I imagine they would have, and they finally did. Let's go with SAG first. So here is their response on Instagram. So it says SAG-AFTRA statement on synthetic performer. SAG-AFTRA believes creativity is and should remain human-centered. The union is opposed to replacement of human performers by synthetics. To be clear, Tilly Norwood is not an actor. It's a character generated by a computer program that was trained on the work of countless professional performers without permission or compensation. It has no life experience to draw from, no emotion, and from what we've seen, audiences aren't interested in watching computer generated content untethered from the human experience. It doesn't solve any problem, it creates the problem of using stolen performances to put actors out of work, jeopardizing performer livelihoods and devaluating human artistry. Additionally, signatory producers should be aware that they may not use synthetic performers without complying with our contractual obligations, which require notice and bargaining whenever a synthetic performer is going to be used. Oh, and apparently, comments have been limited here. Um, it was not like that when I initially saw this, but interesting. And yeah, they just posted this in 3 images. So there's that. From what I saw, most people, I guess, agreed with SAG-AFTRA, but some felt that their response could have been stronger. Already published article here says SAG-AFTRA President Sean Astin says union will address AI actress Tilly Norwood with agents and continue fight for compensation. Sean Astin, he was just recently elected the new leader for the union. Did interview with Variety about this. He says, quote, I appreciate that this story has captured the imagination of people, but it's not the first shoe to drop. We had a 118-day strike, fighting very hard to put AI provisions and protections in place. The teams at SAG-AFTRA have been in this fight for longer than people might realize. As technology continues to advance at light speed, we're going to meet the challenge. And then also said that the matter will be addressed with the Association of Talent Agents, the trade association representing the major firms like CAA, WME, and UTA in upcoming agreement talks. Says, quote, our agreement with the ATA is important and we look forward to a healthy, constructive conversation with agencies to make sure that we continue to help each other. We performers rely on our agents' judgment and their good work and their sincerity, and they rely on our talent and our marketability. The real issue at play is how our work is exhibited and what kinds of permissions and compensations we get for its use. So there is that. And then apparently he said that his union knows what this is and how to treat it, and that means leverage. Quote, with regard to AI, we have an extraordinary amount of leverage because the audience wants to see real human performers in movies, TV shows, animation, video games, audiobooks, and in all the other ways that we represent our members. So there is that. And then also two other unions have made statements on this. So I want to first share with Equity, that's the British union for actors. So that's Equity. Here's what they said here in the statement. The creative process is a human prerogative. AI should empower human creators, not replace them. And then here they say Equity believes that the creative process is a human prerogative and generative AI must remain a tool that's used to empower human creators, not replace them. We're calling for greater transparency and protections for artists' work to ensure that new AI generated performers like Tilly Norwood do not infringe our members' likeness and human artistry is protected at all costs. AI generated performances do not appear from thin air. They are made by digitally imitating real work made by real people. These AI systems have been trained on human likeness and human voices. Sometimes this is done with performers' permission, but often it's not. This Wild West must end, and robust protections must be implemented to ensure artists' work is not stolen. And they have a full statement at their website, which I'll link in the description. And from what I've seen so far, many people felt that with the Equity's response is more stronger than SAG-AFTRA's response on this, at least so far. ACTRA, which is the Canadian Actors Union, have also issued statement as well too, essentially criticizing Tilly Norwood. So this is exclusive interview with the Hollywood Reporter. So ACTRA National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator Mary Kelly had this to share. Quote, Tilly's existence is nothing but lines of code wrongfully based and programmed from actual human performance. There's no place in our industry and no use in the humanity of art for replacing performers with synthetics. ACTRA rejects any attempt to do so. And then she says, quote, performers are concerned about the craft their place in the world of entertainment and their livelihoods. They have always competed against thousands of other performers for work, but are now faced with synthetic competition. Aside from the fact that the synthetic performer doesn't eat, consume goods, pay taxes, or otherwise contribute to our society, they don't engage audiences using human creativity. And then says, this must serve as a wake-up call for Canadian government on the growing threat of AI. We're not against AI and its technical potential, including in our industry, but the very real and negative impacts must be addressed and protected against. This technology is growing ever stronger and doing so at exponential speed. Performers may be the canary in the coal mine, but if strong laws around AI, especially moral rights, are not passed now, it may soon be too late to act for all society. I mean, there is a point there because there needs to be regulation on AI. And as far as I could tell, there isn't, or if there is, it's just not good enough. So the governments across the board, they need to, act fast on this stuff before it's too late. So we'll see what happens on that front. I saw this earlier today, which prompted me to do this video and just made me upset. So, a musician by the name of Stella Hennen essentially came out to say that that Tilly looks like her. So I'll share the article here. She did an interview with Slate magazine. Here it is here. The controversial AI actress looks exactly like me. I'm horrified. Nashville-based musician Stella Hennen found her doppelganger. She's a computer-generated actress stirring up controversy online. So with Stella, she did like a TikTok video on this, and she said here, quote, according to the article, guys, why is this AI actress Tilly Norwood low-key my doppelganger? So the video, of course, went viral with many comparing it to the Joan is Awful episode off of Black Mirror. And then it goes on from there. So apparently, no surprise really, Particle 6, which is Eline I can't remember her name, but essentially with her company Particle 6, they deny that they took Hennen's likeness. They say, quote, Tilly was developed entirely from scratch using original creative design. We do not and will not use any person or performer's likeness without explicit consent and fair compensation. I mean, what we've seen so far with AI in general, it cannot create things from scratch. It has to reference stuff. So they need to be full transparent when it comes to stuff like this. And it's funny that when all this stuff blew up, I've seen the accounts for not just for Eline's account on Instagram, but for Tilly's account and also to the account for the Particle 6. Essentially, comments have been disabled. I mean, no surprise there. So, but yet, months before, I've seen in interviews with Eline, she essentially is all in on AI and all that stuff. So, But it's funny now that like when the tides are turning against her, like wants to avoid accountability, allegedly disabling comments. Yeah, so there's that. But let's continue here. So the reporter here, Kate Lindsay, did interview with Stella and had this to share. So asked how's been the reaction to the video. She says, everybody's like, you should sue. I'm just a girl. I'm 20. I don't know anything when it comes to AI. I did end up texting my management and my lawyers and seeing what they thought about it. I don't know what's going to come about from it. At first, I posted it kind of lighthearted, like, oh, she looks like me. And then I think all the comments started freaking me out a bit. I was like, you know what? This is a little disturbing and scary because what are they going to do with this AI character that resembles me a lot? Um, and then continues, is there a part of you that's like, wait, did I post a photo that they use? Just right before you called, I read this comment that said one of your exes must have put out your face into a database or something. And I was like, is that how it works? So I definitely was freaking out, wondering if I signed anything, but I'm 99% sure I didn't. It could be pure coincidence or something like that could have happened, but it's a world I know absolutely nothing about and I'm scared of it. It kind of reminds me. So I did a video where I talked about the Will Smith AI situation. I believe it was Heather Ashley Boyer, who's a member of SAG, and I believe she also got elected with her position with the union. Mentioned that that maybe allegedly with Will or someone from his team used a specific photo to implement her into that AI crowd video. Check out that video if you have not seen it. It's already out on the channel. Stella continues, says, to be honest, it's super disturbing and scary because I don't know what could come of it. I think it's definitely something that people are gonna have to start worrying about because it's not just a me problem anymore. It'll really start affecting all artists and all creatives. I feel like it undermines the true creative process. You know, I'd rather be the one acting. Put me in a rom-com. And then interviewer asks, do you have any idea how you're going to approach this moving forward? And then Stella says, I think I'm just going to take it day by day. I'm going to listen to my lawyer and managers. And I do want to spread the word about this. I don't think AI belongs in the creative industry. There's so many cons to it. They totally outweigh any of the possible pros. So there's that. I'll link this in the description if you want to check it out with this article. Stella shared a video on Instagram.
Norwood, AI actress is new to our screens. Black Mirror episode, in real life she kinda looks like me. Post a little TikTok, everyone is saying Sue. Articles and magazines all ask for interviews. How do we adapt to this accessible deepfakes? Taking real creative jobs and stealing people's faces. Devalues art, undermine artists, lost the plot. Disturbing creations, parasocials leveled up. But there it is again, that funny feeling, that funny feeling. There it is again, that funny feeling, that funny feeling.
I do want to share some other reactions to the whole Tilly situation. So I've seen so far, it's either been like people, there's like downright outrage, or people kind of do like funny videos on that. So I'm going to start with the funny ones first. So let's start with this one.
You made a promise to me, okay? You said for better or for worse. You said that. You said it. It was a promise.
Sorry.
Now this is my worst, okay? This is my worst. But I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get better. You just gotta give me a chance to get better. Okay?
Yeah, that one is hilarious. What else? Also, to want to share. Yeah, this one. This one's also funny.
Look, I know my new client is facing a little backlash right now, but who can stay mad at those beautiful brown eyes? Unless you want them to be green. She's young, she's hot, she's the girl next door. Unless you need her to be a demon in space. Think about how much money you'll save working with her. She doesn't need a trailer, she doesn't need hair and makeup. She doesn't need food because she doesn't eat, 2 birds. She'll never be rude to crew because she'll never meet them. And best of all, she will never post or speak out about the situation abroad. Sure, she has a soulless essence that makes it hard for her to connect to other actors and audiences, but we can fix that in post. It's going to be hard for her to show up at premieres and do the whole fest circuit, but you're going to save a fortune on hotels. I promise you will not regret casting my girl. Think of the money and time you'll save, not to mention the headaches of working with a young actress. All we need is a small town in West Virginia to keep her powered. Look, I know my new client is facing a little backlash right.
Yeah, that one is hilarious. And then that's all I had for the funny ones. Let's see. Oh, how about this one first?
A few months ago, I left an acting agent who I had been with for less than a year.
So, I believe this person, Daniella Sinder, she is an actor and she shares her thoughts on the situation.
Because he started using AI in the submission process and planned to roll out more AI as part of his workflow, which I thought really lacked integrity and was kind of the writing on the wall for a large portion of the acting industry for the foreseeable future. This week, we saw the introduction of an AI actress, and it's really disturbing, and I feel like it relates. This agent soft launched the inclusion of AI by saying, hey guys, you know that assistant in training that's been emailing with you? It's actually an AI that I trained. And people.
Yeah, I would be upset if like the person that I was communicating with, either through email or social media and all that stuff, did this. I'd be like, no, 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 no.
People were like, what? And he was like, currently I'm still doing the submitting. I'm doing it manually, but in the future I'll be rolling out AI chatbots who do that for me. I cited privacy concerns as well as obvious environmental concerns. We know that AI disproportionately affects Black and Brown communities, and that's not something I'm willing to be complicit in as an artist. But I was largely concerned with the privacy element because SAG was on strike for months regarding what we own as actors, if we own our likeness, how we can be duplicated or replicated. And I felt like it was bad practice for an agent, number one, to have access to my voice, my measurements, my face in various expressions, all of these things that could potentially be duplicated without my consent. Additionally, I felt like this had the potential to really deteriorate relationships between casting directors and agents, and therefore the actors that they represent. Because if an AI is scanning a breakdown for a best fit on the roster and gets it wrong, it makes me look like an ass. The agent, in front of all of his other clients, said, well, are you gonna come work for me for free? Because I'm running out of money and agencies are really, really expensive to maintain and I have a family to look out for. And then the agent sent a picture of his child and was like, I have to get out of this group chat. My child is crying because I'm not spending enough time with him. Wow. Crazy. Shocked me was that generally speaking, the majority of his roster was like, okay, fill in agent's name, whatever you need to do. I got messages in reply that were like, basically stop harassing our agent. He's doing his best. I sent an email and I left the agency. His agency was Equity and SAG franchise, so I immediately got on the phone with both unions. As soon as I was off of his roster, I lodged a complaint. The response from both unions was lukewarm and boiled down to, there's no precedent for this and we aren't interested in pursuing it further at this time. And here we are this week, like 10 weeks later, We have Tilly Norwood, a literal computer program coming to take the jobs of real actors. I just feel like it has to be mentioned, if you're an agent who's thinking of representing a creation like Tilly Norwood, you're not an agent. If you are looking for backdoors to include AI in your creative process at the expense of real human beings, you aren't a professional. A few months ago, I left an acting agent.
Yep, she has a point there. So there's that one. Which one? Okay, last one, maybe. I'll go with this one.
Okay.
And yeah, this one's from Nicole Pacent, and I believe she's also an actor as well.
So I'm settling in for a mid-morning nap because the news has been so exhausting in the 3 hours that I've been awake that I feel I need to go back to sleep for a time. But before I do that, I just wanted to say regarding the creation of the AI actress Tilly Norwood. Why does she have a name? I just read that her creator, Eline whatever, is or was an actor slash comedian slash writer herself. And for those of us who went through acting training, I've had many teachers over the years, I feel like this woman, Eline, is like the super villain culmination of that minority of teachers who are failed actors themselves and just want to crush everybody else's dreams. And she figured out how to do it. Anyway.
I mean, yeah, that's possible. That's possible. Because I saw that one of the reels, I guess she appeared on some podcast. I think it's like for filmmakers or something like that with Eline. So one of the clips I'll share, she talks about how AI can change filmmaking.
So yes, I think it's really exciting. I think it's really creative. You know, it democratizes creativity. So a lot of young people who are sat, you know, at home and they want to produce a film, they can now do all that. They don't need a big.
So I wanted to share that, yeah, I saw this video originally under Eline's account, but of course, when the backlash intensified, she decided to stop sharing it on her profile. Man.
Studio to fund them. They don't need to, you know, work their way up as far as we used to have to get to open doors, because they can just create so much at home. So yes, I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, that's messed up though, because I don't think AI yeah, I don't think it's going to change filmmaking for the better, like how she's describing it. I did see that with this interview, it's up on YouTube. I'm sure it's on different platforms. So the podcast is called Film Finance Podcast. It says Film Finance and Distribution Podcast. So yeah, there's that. And of course, yeah, in the comments got flamed essentially. Like one person says, "You're not an artist, you're not a disruptor, you're a basic capitalist, and as such, you don't care about the truly artistic lives you're stealing from. Keep deleting the comment section so you don't have to deal with the backlash." And last one I'll share here. Had to turn off comments on most of your posts because you can't handle the shame of creating Frankenstein's monster. Maybe you learned the same lesson about hubris and unnatural creation as he did. So yeah, there is that. So, because I saw people wondering like if she deleted this post. No, like she just stopped sharing it off her profile, but it's under Film Finance Podcast there. And last video I'll share. Um, this person's another actor, shared her thoughts on the situation.
You've seen the headlines. AI actress Tilly Norwood is poised to be the new face of Hollywood. Or is she? What if I told you the technology is not there, there's nothing to back up these claims, and this is all just social engineering designed to get you to give up the fight against AI? Hello, my name is Imani Vaughn-Jones. I'm an actress, writer, and producer, and the media has been in a frenzy over Tilly Norwood, an AI creation from the company Particle 6. Per her creator, Eline van der Velden, their goal is for Tilly to be the next Scarlett Johansson or Natalie Portman, and allegedly, Hollywood agents are swarming to sign her. In a LinkedIn post, van der Velden said that audiences don't care whether the star has a pulse and that the age of synthetic actors is here. But the more you look into the story, the more things don't make sense. One would think that if we're allegedly at the point where agents are fighting to sign Tilly, that the creators have figured out basic stuff like making the character look consistent. But they haven't. Here she looks like Gal Gadot. Here she's a cross of Haley Steinfeld and Vanessa Hudgens. Also, her arm is in the steering wheel. Here she's giving Sarah Williams in Labyrinth. Here she might be biracial. And here, just look at the posters. Look at the posters. And these are images from the official Tilly Norwood website. So that means these are the best that they have to offer and show the world. So it seems Tilly's technology is not there yet. But further, AI technology as a whole is not there yet. Remember when Lionsgate partnered with AI company Runway and execs were saying they could remake their films in less than 3 hours? Where are those films? They don't exist because they can't do it. So why does this keep happening? Why do these tech entrepreneurs keep over-promising and under-delivering? Well, a large part of it is that most of these AI proponents are grifters. There are some people with good intentions, but the vast majority of them are snake oil salesmen, as I discussed in my...
Yeah, I've seen some people say that, yeah, like with AI, not just with this particular story, but they think AI in general is grift. So, I mean, yeah, there's probably truth to that, I would say.
A video where I demoed the Showrunner app. But another large part of it is social engineering. They want to inoculate you to the idea of robots taking your job. They want you to get used to the idea, and they want you to accept that it's already become reality, so that when the technology finally is ready, they can roll it out without any uproar. If they tell you agencies are fighting over her, then you feel like the battle's already been lost. When in reality, we have no idea what agencies are fighting over her, if any at all, because the quote came from the person who created her, and therefore would get the most benefit out of people thinking that she's in high demand. We have seen tech grifters before, from Sam Bankman-Fried to Elizabeth Holmes, both of whom are sitting in jail. Do not let them convince you that the genie is completely out of the bottle, because that's not true. We do not have to accept this as our future, and there are still things we can do to stop. Tech with X has some great content about how you can legislate against AI in your local communities while you wait for the federal government to catch up. But even outside of legislation, you can also bully these motherfuckers. Let me get raw for a second. Social pressure works. Jimmy Kimmel is back on the air because of social pressure. Anybody who wants to replace humans with AI, boycott, unsubscribe, camp out in their mentions and comments, send them letters. It works. Despite what it feels like, despite what it looks like, we have so much power still, and this does not have to be our future. As always, let me know what you think in the comments.
So yeah, there's that, because social pressure actually did, it it influenced Eline and her company to essentially disable the comment section. So there's that. But yeah, also too, yeah, like I think you have to look like wherever you're based at, look to see what their policies are with AI and legislation and all that stuff. So because hopefully if the companies themselves are not going to approve, hopefully the government can step up, but who knows on that front. So, and as for Eline and Particle 6, I don't know. Either like they're gonna, let's say, still be quiet on all of this stuff, or if they were to speak out, I won't be surprised, like, if she complains about the backlash. Essentially, maybe she'll say that, oh, like, because I'm a woman is why I'm getting all this backlash. I mean, I feel like if she were to say that, I mean, it doesn't matter, because I feel like whether it was male or female that did all this stuff, people will still speak out, obviously, like the way that they are currently. So, I mean, we'll see what happens here, but yeah, it seems like this story's not gonna go away anytime soon. I won't be surprised, like given the Stella situation, that there's legal action over this stuff. So time will tell. Let me know in the comments section, what do you think about all this stuff. If you want to support me, visit buymeacoffee.com/numpymaloy, where you can donate and also to look at exclusive posts there. I do have a community tab on YouTube, so if you're a subscriber, feel free to leave comments there as long as it's under community guidelines. And if you want to follow me, my links are in the description in terms of my social media accounts. So that pretty much concludes this video, and hope to catch you on the next one.